Hello everyone. In this video I am going to be showing all of you basically how a good loadout should be, and this is actually going to be part 1 of my guide series to Tower Defense Simulator. So yeah, this is about loadouts, or this episode. And then the next episode I plan on making about farming, how to do it efficiently, so stay tuned for that. And I'll later go into strategy and stuff like that and how to win. But for this one I'm going to be going over loadouts, and by the way, I'm sorry if the thing is lagging. I'm trying to fix it right now, but for now, I can't fix it, so yeah. But anyways, about loadouts, the first slot that I like to do, or what I like to put in the first slot, I like to put in a good early to mid-game towers. Okay, so towers like that would be Golden Scout. I mean, Scout might work, but preferably Golden Scout. And Soldier, Golden Soldier might work. Shotgunner, Crook Boss, Golden Crook Boss. And of course, Gladiator. So if you don't have a Gladiator, which most people don't, and if you don't have a Golden Scout or Golden Soldier, I'd recommend choosing Shotgunner. It's in the intermediate section, so it is fairly cheap, and it is very good early to mid game. That is if you want to speedrun, of course. But if you want to speedrun, I'd say Gladiator is the best, then Scout, then Shotgunner. Technically, Shotgunner is better than Golden Scout. But the thing is that Shotgunner is the hardest to do a speedrun on. Even harder than Gladiator. But yeah, it is very fast, but I tend to like Golden Scout more than Shotgunner, then Golden Soldier after Shotgunner, for speedrunning. But, of course, not everyone needs to speedrun, and so some good early game towers would be Gladiator, Golden and Non-Golden Scout, Golden Non-Golden Soldier, Sniper, Hunter. I don't really know about this one, but it could be good. Ace Pilot's really good, Militant, and Shotgunner, of course, and yeah, probably Warden might also be nice, and Engineer is somewhat a good early to mid-game tower. So yeah, there's a lot of good early to mid-game towers. So yeah, and I'd say a relatively easy one to get would be Shotgunner, but a good practical one that is somewhat easy to get is Golden Scout, so I'll clip that. And of course you can choose any of the early to mid-game ones. And next of all, or the second one, I think should be an economy tower. So there's 2 economy towers in the games. There is Farm, and there is, where is it? Cowboy, yeah. There's Cowboy and Farm, and of course Golden Cowboy. And I'm not too familiar with Golden Cowboy farming, but I am very familiar with farming. So I tend to like farming a little more, or the farm more. But of course Cowboy, it does provide good defense, and it still does provide a lot of money. But in the loadout, I'll do farm, but Cowboy is still very helpful. And yeah, there's not much to the farming one, way less than, the first one was. Way more, or way less than, the early to mid game one. But oh my god. Okay, but anyways, the third tower slot I think should be a mid to late game tower. And the mid to late game towers that are very good, things like Ace Pilot. Ace Pilot is really good early, mid, and late game, which is rare. Alongside Engineer. Engineer is good early, mid, and late game. But for the most part, if you want mid to late game, Accelerators are a great option. Ranger, Minigunner, Golden Minigunner, Pursuit, and engineer. Those are the best ones, and turret. In my opinion, those are some of the better ones. Yeah, those are some of the stronger towers, and for this, just pick accelerator. Now the fourth one, it's a little confusing and depends on what you're doing. But this should either be a support tower or another mid to late game tower. So again, the mid to late game towers are Ranger, Accelerator, Engineer, Minigunner, Golden Minigunner, Pursuit, and Turret, in my opinion. And of course, Ace Pilot. And yeah, those are the good late game towers, so you can pick one of those, or you can pick a support like a DJ, Commander, Pyromancer, Golden Pyro, Medic, Sledger, Toxic Gunner, and yeah, and Freezer, of course. Freezer, I think, yeah, right here. So yeah, you should do either support or mid to late game. Now, if you're having a difficult time choosing, if you're trying to do something more difficult in solo, keep in mind, this loadout's all like for solo, I'll get into like multiplayer, but if you're doing like a solo, it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing Molten or normal mode, I'd recommend getting a support tower in the 4th slot. However, if you're doing like solo hardcore or solo Badlands or a solo pizza party, I would recommend a better tower like Engineer, Ranger, something like that. And of course, you know, some difficulties will require different things. So for pizza party, I recommend Ranger for the flying balloon, the balloon kids, which are flying enemies. So yeah, Ranger's pretty good. But yeah, I guess I'll just equip Golden Mini, so that's pretty nice. Engineer. So yeah, this loadout already is very good, but the 5th slot, in my opinion, should always be a support. Either Commander, DJ, Pyromancer, Golden Pyro, Medic, Freezer, Toxic Gunner, or Sledger. All of them are great options. In my opinion, Commander is probably objectively the best, but the thing is that, yeah, I really like the DJ as well, because the DJ, once you use the DJ, it is difficult to stop using the DJ, because the DJ just, you know, significantly decreases how much all your towers cost. And so that is very important. So choose one of them. Commander is 55% more fire rate at max, and DJ, I'm pretty sure, 15% range buff and 20% discount. So yeah, I don't know it for, or 25%, I forget, honestly. But it does give discount and range buff, so yeah. So this already is an amazing loadout. Another great loadout would be something like, if I can phase out. Another great loadout would be something like Ace Pilot, Golden Cowboy, I guess Accelerator, Ranger, and I don't know, Medic. This would be probably a weaker loadout than I had before, but still it would be a very good loadout. You got this for economy, this for early, and these two for late, and of course your support. So yeah, it's very nice to have these on hand, but of course there is more to loadouts than just that. The thing is that there's something I like to call like loadout manipulation, which allows you to have more towers in your loadout, technically. Not actually, you still have 5 towers, but still, it's hard to explain, but basically, what I mean by that is, let's say you have Cowboy, right? Cowboy can equate for good mid to late, or not mid to late, early to mid game defense, so it covers 1 slot, but it's also an economy tower, so it could cover 2 slot. And so, instead of you doing like this, Golden Cowboy or regular Cowboy and farm, you can just take the farm out and have a totally free position, or a good tower, or some other thing. And so that's a very nice thing to have. So you can do like Accelerator, on my 3rd slot, right there, and of course, Commander and DJ. like this. This is a very good loadout. In fact, was the old hardcore loadout, solo hardcore loadout that triumphed hardcore. So, yeah, this is a amazing loadout. And of course, this is also a pretty good loadout, but still, both of them are very good. And of course, you don't have to put like 2 of these, you can get 3 supports and stuff like that. And so now, I guess we'll get on to good like multiplayer loadouts. So yeah, keep in mind I'm not too familiar with good multiplayer loadouts, but I have, you know, decided multiplayer loadouts before and they have worked. So yeah. So one thing I want to point out is that some people will actually try and do, like, one person has, I don't know, like the scout, soldier, sniper, paintballer, and I don't know, like, crook boss or something, right? And, you know, they're newer players, so they don't have any goldens, right? But they'll have one player like this, right? And so they'll have one player like this, and then they'll have another player who goes just full supports, right? Their loadout looks something like this. You know, they're newer, so no golden pyro, but that, and I don't know, like that. Which is a somewhat decent loadout. And then, you know, the other 2 players will have something along the lines of, you know, farm, accelerator, engineer, ranger, and minigunner. Or, yeah, minigunner. So, yeah. The thing is that this is not an amazing loadout, and the reason why is you don't want to have, like, one person be early game, another be support, and, you know, the others be late game. No. That, you know, you can get away with that for, like, normal mode, molten mode, and maybe fallen mode. But, like, when it starts to get bad is when you get to, like, pizza party, right? Because you can't just have 2 people. I mean, you can. But it's going to be much more difficult to have 2 people having good towers. As opposed to 4 people having good towers. And so all 4 players should follow that basic, like, solo strategy, right? Except, you know, try to, I guess, merge them in a way, right? So let's say player 1 will have, I don't know, like, golden scout, farm, accelerator, and I guess, like, engineer, right? Because also for multiplayer, the number 4 slot should probably always, or most of the time, contain a mid to late game tower instead of a support. And so yeah, but in multiplayer, right, you'll have, like, I don't know, golden scout, farm, accelerator, and maybe, like, engineer, I guess. And then player 1 would have, like, a commander, and player 2 would have, like, a DJ, then medic, and so on. And so, I guess now I'll go over, like, you know, which towers kind of triumph over others in the loadouts. So yeah, so when it comes to early game towers, there's, like, gladiator, is very powerful, golden scout, then shotgunner, and probably ace pilot, soldier, golden cowboy, regular cowboy, engineer, and paintballer are all pretty good ones. So, yeah, and militant, all pretty good ones. But if you have them, use gladiator, then golden scout, but most of you will probably have shotgunner, so that's a pretty good one. Shotgunner is faster and technically more strong than ace pilot. But if you have both of them, probably go with ace pilot if you're not trying to just speedrun it, yeah. So if you're trying to speedrun it and you only have these 2, go with shotgunner, but if you're just trying to win, probably go with ace pilot. as it is much easier to, like, use Ace Pilot than Shotgunner, because of its range. So, yeah. Probably go, Gladiator, Golden Scout, Ace Pilot, Shotgunner, and, stuff like that. Then the economy towers, if you want it just for economy, go with Farm. Farm gives way more money than Cowboy. But otherwise, like, if you want it for defense, probably go with Cowboy. Or if you're trying to manipulate it, and you cover these two for the price of one tower, or just a Golden Cowboy or a Cowboy, then yeah, place like your Cowboy right here, and then your other towers right here. So yeah, probably Farm is better just for economy, but if you want to defend and make money, Cowboy's better. And next, for the third slot, or mid to late game. So your mid to late game, the best one in my opinion is Accelerator currently. Accelerator, then Engineer, then Ranger, then I'd say Pursuit, Golden Minigunner Turret, and then regular Minigunner. And so, let's say you have like the option between one of these two. I'd say like Accelerator. Let's say you have the option between Ranger and, I don't know, Turret. I would say go with Ranger because it's got higher placement limit, and I'm pretty sure it has higher DPS. So, yeah, Ranger is pretty good. And, yeah, it's also pretty easy to get. You don't need to be like a level 50. So, yeah, and those are my rankings for, like, I guess, mid to late game. And then for support, it really depends on what situation you're in, but, generally, if you're going, like, solo, then I'd say Commander, DJ, Medic. So Commander's probably the best, and then DJ second best, Medic, then Golden Pyro, Golden Pyro, Sledger, Toxic Gunner probably, normal Pyro, and then probably Freezer. Freezer's not that great. But yeah, those are my supports, and yeah, that's really all I have for like supports and so on. Now probably for the end of the video, after this I'll probably end the video, but basically another thing I want to mention is solo queuing loadouts. So again, you want your early game defense, farm, or economy tower, good tower, but generally if you're solo queuing in like quad, you will have this tower be a mid to late game tower, or a good tower, this be a good tower, and this be a support. Now normally you would want that to be commander, but the thing is that if you're going in like, I don't know, Pizza Party or like Badlands or something, generally people will already have commanders, so DJ's good, Medic's good, and stuff like that. Medics, surprisingly, very few people bring to Badlands and Polluted Wastelands, so it's good to solo queue with that. By the way, if you don't know what solo queuing is, it's basically you just going into a match, right? So if I show you, let's say I go over here, I've got these three, right? And I go over here and I click quad. That would be solo queuing, because I'm just, solo and I'm queuing for quad. So, yeah, and of course it doesn't have to be quad, it can be trio, duo, but generally if you're doing trio or quad solo queuing, commander is going to be good. However, you don't know how to chain commander's, like, abilities, or, like, really use commander well, then I'd say bring DJ or medic, but probably DJ. So, yeah, that's basically all I have for this video. That's all it is for loadouts. I highly suggest that you should go and like practice your loadouts and stuff like that, what works, what doesn't. Because, there are some loadouts that just simply don't work. If, like, I go Ace Pilot, I don't know, this, like, Ungolden Cowboy, just normal Cowboy, I don't know, Turret, and toxic gunner and like freezer. That's probably not going to be an amazing loadout, but something like gladiator, farm, accelerator, engineer, and commander, that would be an amazing loadout. So yeah, just try and experiment, see what's good, see what's not. And that's really all I have for this video. So if you liked the video, go and leave a like on the video. If you like my content in general, please subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, then please leave a dislike and tell me why you didn't like it in the comments. And another thing is, tell me what you want to learn next in my next videos. So, like, or at least in this series. Like if you want me to teach you, like, farming, how to farm efficiently, how to like chain call of arms, how to really use supports, and like positioning and stuff like that, coin grinding farming I'm planning on doing. Then yeah, leave it in the comments. I'm probably gonna do farming next, but if you want to see anything, go and leave it in the comments. And yeah, that's really all I got, so see you tomorrow, or whenever I record. So yeah.